Are you feeling nervous? Are you having fun? It's almost over. It's just begun. Don't overthink this. Sorry, Bo. That's precisely what we're doing with this video. Hello and welcome to the Dark Pink Witch's channel. I'm the titular Pink Witch, and today we will be overthinking Bo Burnham's lyrics. All eyes on me. Life, death, and the internet. Obviously, I'm well aware that my interpretation could be the farthest thing from what the song really means. But who cares about authorial intent? I don't, and this is my lair/channel. Also, in this analysis, whatever I'm saying is about Bo the character as opposed to Bo the person. I don't know the guy, and it's not my place to comment. With all that out of the way, here's how the song starts. The song starts with the same line. Get your hands up, get on out of your seats, all eyes on me, twice over. So, it seems to be something that bears repeating. It demands to be repeated. It commands you to repeat it. It's important to get your hands up. Your participation is necessary, but also compulsory. It's a thing you must partake in. It's a thing you have to partake in. You don't get a choice. The scale of the narrator, the first person, looms large. Its imposing dictation makes it feel like whoever or whatever is singing is bigger than Bo. Literally and figuratively. The voice is technologically enhanced, transhuman by design, cosmic in its grandiose magnificence. I can think of 3 things that possess such grandiosity and also happen to be some of the key themes of Inside: life, death, and the internet. So let's use those to derive meaning from this magical piece of art. Now you can say,
"Witch lady, life and death are necessary, but nobody asked you to partake in the internet. If you're not interested, just log off."
And to that I'd say,
if none of it's of interest to you, you'd be the first.
But also, even if you choose not to participate, even if you denounce the internet can't and won't denounce you. Even if you're not on the internet's still onto you. From cars to cash registers, from bureaucracy to banking. It's all online, baby. Even if you're not on the internet, you're still in the internet. Tangled within the silky threads of dopamine and essential transactions. Trapped in the World Wide Web. You have to be. The internet is essential to life, but also a mockery of it. The internet is permanent like death, but also imposes immortality. Fun fact, the dead will outnumber the living on sites like Facebook in as soon as 50 years if they don't do something about it. Interesting, important, informative, irreplaceable, infinite, infuriating, inside, interested in anything and everything, all of the time. All of the time. Anyway, back to analyzing the song verse by verse, line by line, like pulling apart string cheese. Also, on that note, if you see someone bite into string cheese as opposed to stringing it, run, because that person's an agent of chaos and you should be very careful. But also, so am I, so never mind. Are you feeling nervous? Are you having fun? It's almost over. It's just begun. It's important to check in on yourself. How's life? Are you feeling nervous? Are you having fun? Because there's plenty of reasons to feel either or both. I tend to have that effect on people. You never know how life will pan out. In his book, Turtles All the Way Down, John Green writes, "I don't mind worriers. Worrying is the right worldview. Life is worrisome. But life is also full of beauty and possibilities. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. Right? There's always room for messing around. So, are you having fun? Because you only live once. As far as we know, as far as you know. Life is fragile and finite. You're all dying from the moment you were born. Every breath brings you closer to death. It's almost over, even as it's just begun. Permanent, predestined, unpredictable. Mortality is the worm at the core of the human experiment. the human experience. A was that never will become an is ever again. I'm famously feared. It's only natural for me to ask, are you feeling nervous? Are you afraid of death? I got you. Does that encourage or limit you from experiencing my girl life to the fullest? Are you having fun? You better, because your life is a delicate pact between life and death. You're almost there, standing on death's doorstep, but time is weird, and you're also so far. Today is only the first day of the rest of your life. Today is a brand new step in your march toward the dreaded direction of death's door. Even when it's almost over, it's just begun. Welcome to the internet. I don't need to explain anything. Didn't that girl at the top of the video say a bunch of shit about me? But whatever. I fill you with joy. I fill you with anxiety and dread. But like in a fun way. I'm fun and quirky like that. I keep you up at night. I sing you lullabies. I can connect you to the whole wide world. I can also make you feel so alone. So, are you feeling nervous? Are you having fun? Tell me. I'm listening. Always. Care for a cookie? I promise you, I'll give you the most customized experience. Just how you like it. If only you'd accept my cookies. I know more about you than you do. I'm always present with you. I'm part of you. Part of your present, but also your history. What you Google last night, all the shady websites you visit, and what you do on them. How fast you scrolled, where you clicked, and where you just hovered. I know where you live. I know things about you that should be none of my business. But hey, it's good for business. Hey, you signed the user agreement. Don't shoot the instant messenger. Take it up with Daddy Duck. Daddy Zuck. I live for your eyes. Even wanted to live in or on your eye, but Google Glass never worked out. Aw, I know your world is collapsing. But you can watch it live. In stunning 8K resolution, up to 120 frames per second. With ads though, this shit is depressing. Come take a hit of copium. Just one more vertical video. Just one more. No, just one more. No, I promise this will be the last one. It never is though. Is it?
Another one.
It's always almost over. It's always just begun. They don't call it infinite scroll for nothing. What? Don't overthink this. Look in my eye. Don't be scared. Don't be shy. Come on in. The water is fine. If you want to live a good life, don't overthink it. Thinking is easy. Living is hard. Grace Hopper said, "A ship in port is safe, but that's not what ships were built for. Sail out to the sea and do new things. Come on in. The water is fine." Don't overthink it. Accept me. Close your eyes. Look me in the eye. Don't be scared. Don't be shy. Follow my siren song. Come on in. Drown in the sea of eternity. It's okay. The water's fine. And who knows what lies beneath? Heaven, hell, nothing. Eternal darkness. The darkness, his name is Taylor. Without another thought, look in my eye. iMac, iPhone, iPad, iPod, I watch. Oh, I watch. I happy, I sad, I mad. You watch, I count. Your views, clicks, likes, dislikes, what you bought, what stayed in the cart. But don't overthink it. Accept the policy update. Keep watching content. Stay inside. And while you're at it, broadcast yourself. Make content. Your voice, your heart, your brain, your art, your brain fart. your soul lost in the open sea of content. You could be famous though. I could take you to cloud 9. Come on in. The water's fine. We're going to go where everybody knows everybody knows everybody. Oh. We're going to go where everybody knows everybody knows. Cool, so this is a real love loves to love situation. Here, the word love has been used both as a noun and a verb. What helped me understand this? If you change the verb love to like and keep the noun the same, the sentence becomes love likes to like love. Love wants to be in love and love likes being in love. Something like that. We talked about this, Mr. Burnham. That's the agenda for today. So let's take it in parts. Let's unpack this. We're going to go where everybody knows. We are going somewhere together. Everybody knows that we're going, and everybody knows where we're going. Where everybody knows everybody knows. And wherever we are going, in that place, everybody knows everybody, i.e. each other. And hopefully themselves. Self-awareness. Everybody is going forward in life, onward in time. We all know the stages of life, and we all know how life goes, how it be like that. We all mostly know what living entails, and we all know how living ends. All of you are walking toward me. All of you know that you're going to die. All of you know what awaits you. All of you know where you're going, kinda. And in the realm of the dead, you all become one. We all know each other. Cool story, bro. Leaving aside that existential shit, you're all going online. Everybody's going online. Everybody knows that you're going online. Everybody inevitably goes online. And is inevitably alive. And is inevitably dying. But most importantly, they're going online. Staying inside, but going online. That interior digital space is the only one that matters. And online, we're all connected. We all know each other. Privacy is a joke. The internet is where everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows that everybody goes. And over there, they all know each other. Capitalism. Connecting the collective. Get your fucking hands up. Get on out of your seat. All eyes on me. All eyes on me. Hey, come on. Get your fucking hands up. Get on out of your seat. All eyes on me. All eyes on me.
Yeah.
Our narrator, the character singing this song, further asserts their dominance. Again, reinforcing their presence. Their
Largeness.
Heads down. Pray for me. Heads down now. Pray for me. Wait, what? Pray for me. Pray for me. Pray for me? Pray for a good life? Pray for a good death? Pray for faster internet? Yes, but no. Something doesn't add up. Me implies that whatever entity was singing this song and asking us to raise our hands up a few lines ago is now asking us to bow our collective heads down and pray? But it's not to me. It's for me. Life, death, and the internet are powerful fucking forces. You can pray to something like that, but who the fuck are we praying for? Who are we? Who's everybody? And for that matter, whose eyes are we looking at? We can figure out the pray and the pronouns later. But first, let's do some visual and musical analysis, shall we? The music is as ethereal as it is ominous. Cynical and cyclical. The lyrics too lend themselves well to review, analysis, reanalysis, interpretation, and reinterpretation, and reinterpretation, and I know this one's a stretch, but don't overthink this. Look in my eye could also be don't overthink this look in my eye. Not that the meaning particularly changes, but as a fellow lover of words, much like Bo Burnham, I thought it was a cool observation. The visual language of the song is really beautiful. When he says, "Are you feeling nervous?" he looks right at us, which makes the song feel intimate and haunting. The song is extremely fluid in its rhythm, so the abrupt end feels impactful. And I don't just mean the likely concussion from that fall, although that seemed really bad. In context, it feels impactful. What began with a ends in a whimper, following a hedonistically nihilistic ballad. The watery imagery of the song is hard to ignore. His voice overlaps and echoes itself, creating the image of ripples or crashing waves in an ocean, like a storm brewing at a distance over the horizon, a budding tornado, a downward spiral, visually and auditorially. Because I wanted to make this video, I didn't look at a lot of interpretations of this song, but I did take a cursory glance at the comment section under the music video, and an overwhelming amount of comments essentially said, "This song sounds like what it feels like to drown." And I have to agree. The song repeatedly says the words, "Come on in, the water is fine." It sounds like giving up, giving in. Cool. Fun times. Now, can we please go back to the I, me, you, everybody issue? A final song with hands up audience participation, an ominous rhythm, and voice modulation. Where have I seen that before? Can't handle this right now. Sure you can, but don't give up on yourself. No, I mean, Can't Handle It was the concluding song of Bo Burnham's last special, Make Happy. Inspired by a Wanye-esque performance concept, the song talks about his complicated relationship with his audience. Can't Handle It starts with Bo commanding his audience to raise their hands up, and later uses the frivolity of Pringles and burritos to segue into vulnerable confession. He says to his audience, "Part of me loves you, part of me hates you, part of me needs you, part of me fears you. And I don't think that I can handle this right now." He then switches from talking to his audience to presumably talking to himself, when he says, "Look at them, they're just staring at me like, come and watch that skinny kid with a steadily declining mental health, and laugh as he attempts to give you what he cannot give himself." After which, his lyrics weave back and forth between addressing the audience and addressing himself. To the audience, "Think that I can handle this, right?" To himself, "They don't even know the half of it, right?" Then back to the audience, "I know I'm not a doctor, I'm a pussy, and I put on a silly show. I should probably just shut up and do my job, so here I go. Think that I can't handle this, right? Oh, can't handle this, right? Oh." And when earlier it said, "They don't even know the half of it," he uses, "and you don't even know the half of it right now. Right now." Wouldn't have got the letters if I knew it. In essence, the song bears crowd work, saying hands up. At several points, he both commands and roasts the audience, while simultaneously expressing vulnerability and near subservience, where he switches between talking to the audience and talking to himself. And so the audience keeps shifting from the stadium crowd to himself. So it shouldn't come as a surprise when All Eyes on Me bears a narrator that commands the audience to get their hands up and give all their eyes to him, and shortly thereafter asks them to bow their head and pray for him. Can't Handle is the blueprint that All Eyes is based on. So, if at different points the I, me, you, and everybody seems unclear and at times indistinguishable, that's a design choice. Speaking of Make Happy, wasn't that 5 years before Inside? So that's like 9 years now? Yeah, that was 2015. And who, pray tell, are you? I'm you from the future. Huh? I'm you from the very near future. I have a bigger hat, better audio, and we're doing that bit that a bunch of people you'd like have done. Okay. So get out of your seat. Fine. So what are you gonna do? I'm gonna go change into your outfit so the timeline stays consistent. Cool. Oh, and don't forget this, because mine needs to rest here. Yes. And so what happened between those 5 years? Well, it's a funny story. In fact, the funny story in the song isn't the first time he's told this story. This funny story is the central conflict of Inside. This funny story is one he's been telling throughout Inside. Hell, Inside is the funny story. He's telling the same story in the song Look Who's Inside Again, another one of the most prominent songs in the special. We hear the melody of the song repeated throughout the special in various versions. And based on my memory, the song probably also ends with this theme. In fact, the outtakes version of the special also starts with a failed outtake version of the song.
Try telling jokes, making little sound.
So, let's take a look at those lyrics, shall we? Well, well, look who's inside again. Went out to look for a reason to hide again. Well, well, buddy, you found it. Now come out with your hands up, we've got you surrounded. Look who's inside again. The word again implies that he's been here before. He even says that in the song. I was a kid who was stuck in his room. Going back in time, Bo got his start on YouTube when he was just a kid stuck in his room. He went out, gave several live performances, found adoration, but eventually got so overwhelmed that he had to take a break from performing, looking for a reason to hide, to go back inside. And then the funniest thing happened. The pandemic that forced everyone to get and stay inside. Ever the skilled wordsmith, Bo writes, come out with your hands up, we've got you surrounded, which serves as beautifully stunning foreshadowing for get your hands up, all eyes on me. He probably feels punished and eventually punishes himself for taking a break in the first place. He took a break from all the eyes on him, and those eyes became unavailable when he wanted them back, leaving him all alone. He got out and became a professional comedian at the young age of this by making videos of himself, making faces, telling jokes, making little sounds. Here's a question. If a performer performs in a forest, or a room for that matter, and there's no one around to watch them, what distinguishes the performance from rehearsal? A live performer without an audience isn't really a performer. They're still an artist, don't get me wrong, but it is the presence of an audience that makes their art a performance. Presentation to and being consumed by an audience is what completes the arc of the art and the artist. That's why it's exhilarating to perform in front of large crowds. That's why it's nerve-wracking to perform in front of a crowd of any size.
That would be a really cathartic experience, I'm sure, to get to sing Champagne Problems in a stadium.
Now, think of a live performer and take their audience away. It's all but guaranteed that they're going to have an identity crisis. Add to that a global pandemic that forced everyone inside, leaving this performer not only without an audience, but human interaction altogether. That's the central conflict of Inside. Inside contains several shots of pseudo stand-up. Pseudo not only because most of the time he's sitting down, but pseudo because of the audience or lack thereof he's performing in front of. Pseudo because stand-up is designed to be live comedy, a collaboration between the comedian and the crowd. In stand-up, the audience has an immense amount of power. The audience can make a stand-up comic change their entire script and structure. The crowd dictates what jokes they choose to tell or not tell. The audience has the ability to stop the performer by laughing, booing, or heckling. The last two being generally frowned upon, Bo relied on his audience for feedback.
I used to perform comedy on a stage in front of people, living humans. And I would try to be funny, and then the audience would sometimes laugh. And that was really helpful because I would hear their laughter, and that would let me know that what I was doing was funny to them.
Without them, he's still only half, albeit a much bigger and more significant half, also a richer half, but only half of a comedic whole. Now he had no idea which jokes to pick or where to pause for laughter, because every pause in this stand-up set, regardless of the joke, begot only one response: an unnerving, stunned silence. Bo mentions that no matter what he starts writing, the show always ends up being about performance.
I try to make my show about other things, but it always ends up becoming about performing.
Inside is no exception. But here's the thing about audiences, especially in the age of the internet, where you need only have an audience of one. A one that can replace an entire crowd, an audience of ghosts and possibilities, the mere potential of an audience. But just enough to distinguish rehearsal from performance, performance from rehearsal. But performance in this case isn't the ephemeral journey from creation to catharsis. No, this new audience of one makes the performance immortal. The show never ends, and in the border turns performance into content. That's the context of content. The opening song of Inside. Use knives responsibly, kids. Or don't, I'm not your dad. He says, almost like, there's no live performance, dear audience, but I made you some content. Bo meets us, the audience, back where he last left us. But instead of the epilogue for his last special, filmed live, this is a decidedly internety space, and hence the acknowledgement. It's a beautiful day to stay inside. It's a beautiful day to stay inside. Kind of like comedians who perform in different cities are like, hey, New York, it's a great day to be here. Shortly thereafter, we meet for the first time our audience of one, the camera. The song then gets swallowed into the blackness of a lens. The camera has been a framing device, both literal and figuratively, constantly present throughout the special. The camera is his co-star, at times even his antagonist, with very little character development. Bo goes through a complete, albeit tragic, transformation, his depression growing in tandem with his facial hair. But the camera never changes. It remains a voyeuristic, soulless cyclops, staring at him. Becoming one of the youngest live comedians at the time, Bo's live career was him escaping his audience of one. From YouTube to a live audience. However, like Icarus, whose pursuit of the sun melted his waxy wings and sent him plummeting back to the earth, Bo's pursuit of a live audience overwhelmed him and landed him right back to where he began. A kid stuck in his room, 17 years ago.
Am I going crazy? Would I even know? Am I right back where I started 14 years ago?
The camera, once his key to freedom, had now become his personal prison, an ever-present blinking red reminder of what he had, what he lost, what he desperately missed. Bo stopped performing because he felt like he had exhausted himself as a source of storytelling. But when COVID hit, all he had was himself. In order to create the characters, stories, songs, goofs and gaffes of the whole special, he had to fracture himself into Sako, his inner white woman, his brand consultant self, his gamer character, the character playing the gamer character, him reacting to himself, and reacting to himself, and the billion other characters he played doing the song. It forced him to exhaust himself to an even greater degree. This time, up close and in high definition. Bo talks in the mirror in this scene. But for now, in that moment, he's just talking to himself. Bo is his own audience.
And I'm gonna not finish the special. I'm gonna work on it forever, I think. So yeah, I'm gonna work on this forever and I'm never gonna release it. So I'm not talking to anybody right now. I'm just talking to myself.
All he can do is play pretend, talking to this imaginary audience. You're back? Yeah, I'm back. I changed into a different outfit. Now I'm your near future. Now give me back my chair. Fine.
But that's not how it's supposed to work. Today's tomorrow's yesterday, bitch.
Yeah, and today is also day before yesterday's day after tomorrow. What of it? I just needed to write in a costume change. But I'm keeping the hat. So, let's run it one more time. This time from Bo's perspective. You know the drill. Take it away. All eyes on me in this context is a lot of things. A command. Come on, all eyes on me. Look at me. It's a call for response. It's also a cry for help. A state of paranoia. Oh my god, there are so many eyes on me. A brag. Look how many eyes are on me. Also, a wish. He wishes that there were more and real eyes on him. It's also a lament. It's literally a sad song. And yet, all meanings dissolve into one. Are you feeling nervous? Are you having fun? Is a pulse check of sorts. He's contemplating his own anxiety and creative motivations. He's also asking the audience. But since he is his own audience, he's inevitably asking this question of himself. Are you feeling nervous? There are plenty of reasons for him to be nervous and anxious. First, there's this inherent anxiety, a funny feeling of living in a post-pandemic world. He's about to end the special by the time the song appears. And there's plenty of anxiety to be had in the act of creating something, finishing it, and releasing it. Releasing a work means that it stops belonging to you. You alone, anyway. You co-own the ethereal concept of your art with audience members like me, which is an unnerving prospect. Are you having fun is an important question, because one of the main reasons he started writing the special was to kill boredom for fun. He says as much in his starting monologue set in front of a mirror.
I hope this special can maybe do for you what it's done for me these last couple months, which is to distract me from wanting to...
That's enough. Let's move on. It's almost over, it's just begun is an awesome line, which could be in reference to a lot of things. His perfectionism compelled him to take several takes of the same song over and over, one after another. So, just as he's finishing one performance, he knows that shortly he'll have to do it all over again in search of that perfect take.
Check that one.
The special includes several shots of him ostensibly editing, as a muffled rendition of the song we just heard emanates from a laptop in front of him. Just as he's finishing performing, the work of editing begins, which means watching himself over and over. Even though the performance is almost over, the work of reliving it to edit is just beginning.
One more.
All Eyes on Me is the penultimate song. Just as the special is ending, the final song, Goodbye, is about to recap and summarize the whole special. Even as the special is released, its dissemination and subsequent reaction and reception from the audience is just beginning. It's almost over, it's just begun is somewhat like the truism, this too shall pass. I'd argue it's a truism in itself, a certain reverse, this too shall pass. I love that the very next lyric is as if to say, don't overthink that last twisty oxymoronic line. He says that to the audience at home, but he's also referring to his writer self, to let go of the imposter syndrome and finish the damn thing. The whole thing sounds at least limerick adjacent. Partially, don't mind the rude interruption. Nerds, I tell you. Coming back to the actual lyrics, look in my eye, don't be scared, don't be shy, come on in, the water's fine. I think the word I in this case has been deliberately used in place of eyes, which is what the chorus uses. The I in question is not Bo Burnham's. He's looking at his own eyes through the cold mechanical lens of a camera, almost as if it were the camera saying, look at me, keep performing, even as the world falls apart around and inside you. Come on in, the water's fine is my favoriteest line of the song, and like 50% of the reason why this video exists in the first place. The image of a camera like a current, sucking you in, swallowing you whole, is present throughout the special. Come On In, The Water's Fine holds water in another way. As he's finishing the film, he's about to release it to be streamed. I know it's a stretch, but stretching is helpful sometimes. But seriously, I have a lot of meaningful interpretations of this line. For one, it reminds me of the story of a frog being slowly boiled alive because it stayed in the water with every rising degree, believing that the water is fine. Not unlike the state of our planet. Inside has a very stranded at sea vibe. It's giving solitary sailor at sea slowly losing sanity. Maybe that's why it says, come on in, the water is fine. There's no sign of land, no hope for rescue or company. So I guess the water is fine. It's resignation to an inevitable drowning, an acceptance of a watery grave. The water is fine even as the current repeatedly forces him to put his hands up. The circumstances created by COVID, exacerbated by Bo's solitary confinement art project, created a perfect simulation of a solitary sailor adrift amidst the ocean all alone. Solitary confinement in a vast expanse, like the vast expanse of the internet. Ceaseless connections that leave you feeling bitterly alone. The world has already ended. The oceans are rising and you're too helpless to do anything about it. So, come back inside. Come on in. The water's fine. Stay here, play video games, and watch content. The line repeats itself. It's like a chant for a downward spiral, a resignation to circumstance, a beautiful and poetic homage to recurring intrusive thoughts. It's the echoing call of depression. And in that context, Pray For Me feels like a brief cry for help from the vulnerable component of Bo, right before the apathetic chant of get your fucking hands up resumes, shutting him down, shooting down the vulnerability. The everybody in question being just him. As soon as he says the word everybody, multiple overlapping images of him take over the screen. He raises his own hand, lowers his own head, and watches himself over and over until you, me, I, they, everybody dissolve into one. No one there to hear him. No one here to see him. All there is a dozen soulless cyclopses staring at him. Him staring his camera, staring him, staring his camera, ad nauseum, ad infinitum. What else is there to do? Except put your hands up in nihilistic joy and lower your head in desperate prayer, like everybody else. But there is nobody else. You are on your own. You are your own audience, your own director, writer, editor, and critic.
It'll stop any day now.
There's a pre-recorded laugh track that you selected. Several cameras and mics, their angles, lenses, and exposures set to your command. All there is you. You and the other gazillions of you. Ostensibly faithful reflections brought to you through the limited capabilities of lenses in stunning resolution. A voyeur of yourself. Yours is the call. Yours is the response. You are everybody. You and the countless images of you, overlapping multitudes, bleeding into each other, feeding off of each other. So by the time you find yourself, pick yourself back up, you've become so disoriented that you bump into the piano and the song ends. Doesn't work on my nose. This is like quirky millennial central. I love the little words. Devil. A was that never will become an if. A was that never. It's so goofy. So what are you gonna do in the meantime? Again, were that 3 letters? I don't know. Welcome to the internet.
Something very strange at the end of a show where he ranted for like 20 minutes. It was kind of a rant, kind of a song.
Shut
He had
up,
auto-tune on his
Burnham.
voice, and there was an
Bye.